Hi, I thought of making use of this time on this long haul flight to give a summary about a talk that I gave in Germany last week. My topic was on how we are becoming aged prematurely, and from an Ayurvedic perspective, we are starting to see more of vata, which is more degenerative changes in our pitta, which is more related to our middle age. From an Ayurvedic perspective, our lifespan can be divided into three stages. Kapha, which is from infancy to early adulthood, where there are lots of growth hormones and this growth, and Pitta, which is the middle age, and Vata, which is the older age, where we start to see degeneration. What I do see in my practice is that more and more people in their middle age are presenting with symptoms that should be seen during older age, during Vata age. For example, fatigue, excessive fatigue, and this could relate to adrenal exhaustion, sleeping problems, which can be because of excess cortisol, digestive disorders, food sensitivity is becoming extremely common, and weight issues, which relates to one's metabolic rate, and menstrual disorders in women may not always be related to ovarian function, but could relate to thyroid, which again is very important for metabolism, and both in men and women, metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is accumulation of weight around the waist, fats, inflammation, an imbalance in cholesterol, high blood pressure, and this can be a predisposing factor to type 2 diabetes, and usually they can be insulin resistant. So from my perspective, I think these really indicate premature aging, and there could be a lot of reasons for that to occur. And let's look at the etiology of this from an Ayurvedic perspective. From an Ayurvedic perspective, when there is aggravation of vata, which is air and space, this is a bioenergetic concept that's used in Ayurveda. Vata is cold, dry, and rough, mobile. These characteristics, they define vata, and it's called a dosha. And when there is aggravation or imbalance in vata, like as in stress, or it can be due to improper lifestyle or due to dietary practice, then that is going to result in a depletion in tissue, which in Ayurveda is called rasa, which you can relate it to the juice of life, or sometimes it's translated as lymph, but it's much broader than lymph. So when there's imbalance of vata and a disturbance in rasa, or the first tissue from an Ayurvedic perspective, there are 7 tissues that are described in Ayurveda, including blood, muscle tissue, fat, then marrow, reproductive tissue. So aggravation or imbalance in vata results in a depletion of rasa, and then when this is combined with an imbalance in agni, which is the metabolic fire or metabolism, generally in Ayurveda termed agnimadhya, will result in depletion of the tissues, or result in poor repair of tissues, or poor repair at a cellular level, which in Ayurveda could be termed dhatu kshaya. So these are the 4 aspects that would lead to the symptoms that I was talking about before, such as fatigue, sleeping problems, metabolic syndrome, digestive disorders, etc. So from an Ayurvedic perspective, it takes about 6 different stages for the development of disease, and if a good practitioner is able to identify at which stage the imbalances are, and is able to prevent it at stage 3 instead of letting it progress to stage 4, then you're possibly addressing prevention, or you're actually addressing a possible future disease. So let me go straight into probably what factors in a food might actually result in premature aging. Definitely, in my experience, it's wheat, gluten, sugar, any form of sugar, trans fats, artificial sweetness, non-organic foods, wrong food combinations. When I say wrong food combinations, what I mean is, we need variety. We need to eat all kinds of food, and I do that. I rotate my food types, but I don't combine them in a certain way. For example, if you're combining too much of carbohydrates with fats, then that would be a wrong combination. Similarly, if you're combining too much of proteins and carbohydrates, particularly refined carbohydrates, that also might lead to risk. So a good advice would be to really use proteins or carbohydrates with good amount of fiber. That's just an example. And also, one of the key problems with our food today is milk. I'm not talking about organic whole milk, but other forms of milk that we get, and the types of meat. Not all meats are bad, but if it is not grass-fed, then that would result in huge health risk. So I can confidently say that not many people actually can avoid all of these factors, and we still would need to have many of these food or some of these foods. However, by being aware that these foods, when we are eating in excess, actually can result in premature aging. And what I see is that today, because of the way how food is produced, there are a lot of heavy metals. Heavy metals, they get into the soil, they get into the plant, and they get into the food, and then we're also exposed to a lot of fumes, pollution, and all of this would result in putting stress on our body, and our body is constantly trying to get rid of these heavy metals. And when the body is trying to get rid of these heavy metals, it won't have much of an opportunity to do tissue repair or cellular repair. And on top of it, parasites. Although we may not suffer from severe parasites that might result in digestive disorders, but it is important to make sure that we don't contract intestinal parasites. And radiation, for example, as of now, I'm traveling and I'm exposed to radiation, and of course this puts stress on the nervous system. So all of this result in a poor energy conversion and insulin resistance, and there's cortisol buildup and oxidation. So what's the solution? The solution is really, if you want to prevent degenerative conditions, then we would need to go wheat-free, gluten-free, sugar-free. Definitely sugar-free as far as possible, and don't overdo wheat and gluten. Do it once a week, but just don't do it every day. Have more oils. Have good fats like coconut, hemp seed oil, flaxseed oil, and antioxidants through spices. The key thing to use spices is really because of the adaptogenic properties that spices have, and also the antioxidant properties that the phytoconstituents within the spices that have, for example, turmeric, fennel, cumin, a whole range of spices that you can use in your cooking. Physical activity is very important. We are designed to move. We're not designed to sit like this and travel and eat and sleep all the time. We need to be moving, because that keeps our lymph moving, that keeps everything moving, and basically to stop aging, we need to be moving. Meditation, that helps. For instance, when I'm on a long haul flight like this, I take the opportunity to meditate, and also it's possibly a good idea to do electronic fasting. What I mean by electronic fasting is that you don't use any electronic device, say once a week or once in 15 days or once a month, because you are preventing that exposure to electromagnetic field and the radio frequencies that do have a huge impact on our nervous system and hormonal system. So, if we are able to take a little bit of care of ourselves on a daily basis, we might actually be positively contributing to our cellular repair and therefore prevent premature aging. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.